So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. Guys, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video as always, guys. So guys, I've got some news for you. Apparently, Keith Thurman might be Errol Spence's mandatory. According to Maurizio Suleiman, he said that Keith Thurman may be Errol Spence's mandatory. Now, Errol Spence has shown a resentment. He doesn't want to fight Keith Thurman. And the reason why that is because Keith Thurman, when Errol Spence was coming up, Keith Thurman didn't give Errol Spence his chance and made every excuse in the book. And I think Errol Spence ever since got the hump, and he thought, if this guy didn't give me an opportunity, why should I give him an opportunity now that I'm at the top? So I think Errol Spence became a bit resentful towards Thurman and didn't want to give him that shot. Now, he may have no choice because if this Crawford fight doesn't happen, Errol Spence might decide to just sit on the side and wait for the fight. But if he wants another fight, what's going to be a fight that's going to sell, that's going to make sense, that's going to be credible? I mean, Keith Thurman is probably the perfect fight because I take it that Errol Spence wouldn't want to go fight Boots, because why would you want to fight Boots? I mean, that's a very dangerous fight. And the Thurman fight is probably a bigger fight commercially, most likely. So it'd probably make more sense for Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman. Although he's shown he doesn't really want to fight Keith Thurman, and he hasn't really shown a bit of resentment towards Thurman because of the fact that Thurman didn't give him his crack when he was in that position. I think it might just be the most money and the safest fight that Errol Spence would probably take right now, because you'd have to say that Keith Thurman is so inactive. In my opinion, he's past his best. And I think that would be a much easier fight than the Boots fight, which I actually think I would actually favor Boots to win that fight. Now, people may think I'm crazy, but I think he beats Errol Spence. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong. I just think that that fight makes a lot more sense, in my opinion, for Errol Spence. But some people think that Keith Thurman messed Errol Spence around, and Errol Spence now doesn't want to give Keith Thurman that opportunity. But I think it might just make sense for him from a financial point of view, and from a look. I don't think that's a tough fight for Keith Thurman. I thought at one stage that Keith Thurman could beat Errol Spence without question. I even said to people that you might even have to favor Keith Thurman with the experience, with the confidence of where he's at in his career. But Keith Thurman, I mean, he's fell off a cliff. He's totally fell off a cliff. At one point, Thurman was a really good fighter and a top fighter and a guy that you had to take seriously in the welterweight division. But he's become so inactive. He's just disappeared. Like, I haven't seen anyone that was that highly rated that just, like, yeah, he got injured, but he just fell off a cliff. I mean, he just totally went down the wayside, made up money against Pacquiao. And to be honest with you, Thurman is still very sellable. It's not like Thurman can't be sold and to the public, because he's only got one loss. I mean, he's only lost to Manny Pacquiao. I mean, that's hardly shameful. Maybe at the time you'd expect, I think that told us all we need to know about Keith Thurman and where he's at in his career when he lost to Manny Pacquiao, because although Manny Pacquiao beat him, Manny Pacquiao was at the end of his career, and Keith Thurman, although it was a close fight, Keith Thurman did well. Manny Pacquiao, if he was in his prime, would have probably put that Keith Thurman away, knocked him out. So for me personally, I think Keith Thurman, that was a couple years ago. That was 3 years ago. Keith Thurman now, God knows. I mean, since he hasn't fought since Pacquiao, has he? Oh no, he fought Barrios. I mean, how long ago was that? How long ago was the Barrios fight? I mean, the Barrios fight seems like a long, long time ago. I don't know. Was it this year? I don't know. When did he fight Barrios? I mean, ages ago. So for me, Keith Thurman for me is past his best. And I think Errol Spence will win that fight by knockout. I think Keith Thurman will get stopped in that fight. And I think he gets stopped against Crawford as well. Keith Thurman, however, is explosive and he can punch. But I just think that Errol Spence is a very big, strong welterweight. And I don't think Keith Thurman beats Errol Spence, if I'm totally honest with you. I think Keith Thurman's seen better days. I think he is now a fighter that's past his best. And I think he gets beat. I think, of course, he'll probably want one or two more paydays. And because he's got that name, he'll still be able to probably get those paydays because he's only got one loss. He's still a very credible fighter. I just don't think he can compete against the best anymore. And if he does, I think he'll be on the losing side. Whereas thought previously, I thought Keith Thurman could beat anybody in the welterweight division, including Crawford, including Spence when he was in his prime. But unfortunately, Keith Thurman, like I said, has fell off a cliff. And I don't believe that he's the fighter he once was. Hence why I think if he was to fight your Errol Spence's, your Crawfords of this world, I think he gets beat. I think he gets stopped. I think even Ortiz and Ennis beat him, by the way. I think those guys are young, hungry lions coming through, and I think they would beat him as well. So for Keith Thurman, I think it's going to be tough now to make a mark in the welterweight division or any division. I don't think he can move up to 154 either. So I think it's going to be tough for Keith Thurman to become world champion again because of his inactivity. And I just don't know whether Keith Thurman has that hunger that he once had. I think that's gone as well. So leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this news. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.